Hey guys, welcome to Project Homestead. Did you see that? I just bent over. My back is feeling much better today. It's not 100%, but it's getting a lot better. So today we're going to try and make some sourdough. Now, about a week and a half ago, I tried making my own sourdough starter. I just kind of quickly jumped online. I looked up some basics about starting my own starter, and then I went ahead and started it. The next day I threw my back out. So a couple of days went by. I didn't do anything to that sourdough starter. After I got out of bed from being in bed a couple of days from throwing my back out, I got up and I remembered, oh yeah. And so I went to go check it, hoping that it would kind of be bubbly because I had fed it twice. I had fed it twice. It was bubbly and furry, and it smelled so disgusting. Like floury water that has gone off is putrid smelling. Ugh. Anyways, I'll insert a picture here or a video somewhere so you guys can see what happened, but I also didn't do anything to this starter right here, which is the one that I got from my mother-in-law. And when I opened that one, it looked really good. Smelled really good, and it still smells really good. So that tells me that this guy right here is active. This one right here is active. This one's beautiful. And so I'm gonna try again to make a loaf of sourdough with this sourdough starter. But I have looked into it, and you have to feed it before you do that. So right now I'm gonna feed the sourdough starter. And the thing about feeding that I found really interesting is some people are like, feed it with 2 tablespoons of flour. Some people are like, feed it 40 grams of flour. Some people are like, feed it a third cup of flour. Some people, I don't know. But the thing that seems to be uniform across the board is that they discard half of it, then they feed it. Some of them discard 2/3 of it, and then they feed it. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're going to feed our starter, and then I'm gonna come back in 8 to 10 hours and check if it has risen. And if it is risen, then we will know that we are good to go. So that's why I have this rubber band here on the jar. It's so that it can show me whether it's actually risen and gotten bubbly, because if it doesn't rise, my bread's not gonna rise. That should have been common sense to me. It wasn't. So hopefully we can get this sourdough starter to rise, and then we will bake a loaf of bread tomorrow. So, or maybe tonight, I don't know. We'll see how we go. So let's get going. Let's discard part of this, add some water, lukewarm water, add some rye flour, let it do its thing. It may take a day or two, but we're gonna see how we go. Also, I'm going to be making my own sourdough starters. I'm going to use this small weck jar, and I'm going to use this very tiny little container. I want to do these in 2 different containers because I want to be able to easily remember which is which. I'm going to be doing a sourdough starter off of Mary's Nest. I love her. She's my guru and my teacher, and I love you, Mary. If you ever see my videos, I just want you to know I adore you. You have taught me so many things, Mary, and I'm just so grateful for you. And I don't know whether you'll ever see this, but keep making videos. They're full of information, and I adore your personality, and I'm gonna stop fangirling right now. But so I'm going to be doing hers in this small container because that's what she recommends. And I'm also going to be sourcing some some rye berries, and we will be making our own starter with that. I need to source the berries though first, so. And then in my weck jar, I'm going to be making a sourdough starter from a girl named Mary Grace Bread. And she's here on YouTube as well. I believe, is in Brisbane. She's Australian, and she has the funnest personality. She's just so sweet, and you can tell she's so passionate about her bread, and I really love watching her. I binge watched her, and I think I've learned what I did wrong. From watching her, I think what went wrong with my last bread is that my starter was not active. She has a bit of a twist that I had never seen before in a sourdough starter, so I'm excited to share that with you. And I'll also put her channel down below because you should go follow her. If you're interested in sourdough, you should follow her. She loves it, she knows it, and she's just really sweet to watch. So I would suggest that. So we are going to be making these sourdough starters as well, but that's going to be another video. I just wanted to let you know that we're doing that. It's coming up, but I'm impatient and I want to post my sourdough as soon as possible. So I'm going to try to get this sourdough starter to come alive. And also today we're going to take down Christmas because Christmas is still up. I threw my back out. I was in bed. I wasn't doing anything. And so Christmas is still very much up in my home, which is okay because it's cheerful, but I'm ready for it to go and take its nap for the year and come back at the end of the year. So we're going to be trying to get on top of the house. The house has just fallen down to pieces. It has fallen to ruins. And so I'm hoping to be able to get my house organized and under control and reward myself with a piece of delicious sourdough that I have made from scratch all by myself. Well, kind of all by myself. My mother-in-law, she's the one that gave me this sourdough starter. And yeah, but I want to make my own. I want to know that I can do it on my own. So let's get started on this video and see if we can end this video with a clean house and a piece of sourdough.
Guys, I am so excited to see if I can get this sourdough starter to reactivate. So what I did is I took out some of the starter. This is called the discard. You're supposed to take out half to, I think, 2/3, depending on whatever you want to do. I decided to take out half of the sourdough starter and then to put 40 grams of organic rye flour in, and then also 40 grams of lukewarm water in. And you can see the texture. It's very thick, it's very dark, and the discard is actually really light and really kind of more liquidy. I'll show you right here so you can kind of see the difference. You can use that discard in lots of things. I ended up using it in waffles and it was so tasty. It made them kind of sour, and I am here for the sour. So I moved the rubber band back up to the top and just made it match wherever the sourdough starter was so I could see in the morning if I had any sort of rise. Put the lid on and voila, stuck it on top of the Cuisinart, put the Cuisinart on warm, and then waited overnight, checked it before I went to bed, and then in the morning we had a slight rise. I was so excited. I literally squeaked. I'm not joking. I squealed, squeaked, jumped up and down. I was so excited, but I realized this was not quite enough of a rise to bake the bread. So we did the same thing as we did the day before. We lowered the rubber band, discarded half of it, 40 grams organic rye flour, 40 grams lukewarm water, mix that up, move the rubber band back to the top of the sourdough starter. I like using a rubber band because I can get it pretty precise. It's, you know, not perfectly symmetrical all the way around the jar, so I can just perfectly get it where the dough is up on the side, the sourdough starter, and then in the morning I can get a really good idea of if it had a rise or not. Okay, as you can see, Christmas is still up. It's in the middle of January, so we need to get this down. The house is crazy. It has completely fallen apart, but I want to point out, I am so grateful for my husband. If it had not been for him, the house would be a million times worse. He kept on top of everything. He got the freezer mills out. He fed the children. He did the laundry. He didn't fold it, but hey, he did the laundry. That is so helpful. He did all the dishes. I'm just so grateful for everything that he did. And is it perfect? Is my house perfect? No, it's not. But it'd be a lot worse had it not been for his help and just taking such wonderful care of me. I've learned over the years not to nitpick at people's kindness and the way that they choose to show that kindness to you. At the end of the day, I still have a lot of work to do now that I'm out of bed and I'm up and about, but it would have been so much worse had it not been for him, and he put everything he had into it. And so for me, that is exactly what I needed, and it is perfect, and I'm so grateful for him. Okay, guys, I want you to look at how easy this is coming off. What a home run of a Christmas decoration. It is going to be so easy to put this on next year. Do you see right there where the break is? Where we had the other pool noodle that we had to put on to the banister. It just folds like so easy. And I just put it in my Christmas tree box. And next year I'm just going to get it out. I was happy with that. I was very, very, very happy with that. Anyways, we're gonna get on to Christmas. We're going to take it down. We're gonna clean up the house, get the laundry folded, and then we're going to come back again and check the sourdough starter in about 8 hours. I actually started feeling a bit overwhelmed with the sheer amount of things that I had to do, but I slowed down and I looked around and I thought to myself, this is really what it's all about, is cleaning up and doing those day-to-day things, and then it's going to get messy again, and you need to be able to not only live in the comfortable times of life, but also to live in the times where it's not comfortable.
Wow.
Okay.
No, it's just that it doesn't hurt whenever I drink water now.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna warm up some tea.
Maybe make some tea and bring it up to your sister. She's really unwell. Actually, I'll make her some tea. Go get the teacup.
Mom, I forgot this. And plus, Macy's my sister. I want to do something nice to her when she's sick and help her.
That's nice. I love that. Okay, you got it. You go for it.
So, leave it to me.
All right, it's left to
I'm
you.
going to use your favorite cup. Because it's a favorite cup.
So this is the next morning, and as you can see, we didn't get very much of a rise, like if any at all, but the bubbles were there, so I was happy with that, and the smell was really, really nice. It smelled like sweet honey, so I was okay with that. I went ahead and I did the same thing as you guys have seen me do the days prior. I discarded half, etc., mixed in the flour, the lukewarm water, etc. But what I wanted to point out today is that I had added the starter to the starter I had taken out the days previous, and I was keeping the starter in the refrigerator. And then I thought to myself, what can I do with this starter? It's just starting to really add up. And so I decided that I was going to make waffles with the starter, and they turned out so good. They were like sourdough and waffly and delicious, and I will do it again. I will make sourdough waffles again. I'm excited to try this again in future when the sourdough starter that I'm discarding is activated and like alive and activated, like really bubbly and full of cultures, etc. So that's what we did with it today. Just sharing that little bit of information. The sourdough waffles were a good decision.
Smells like cheese toasties.
It smells like a cheese toasty.
Yeah.
Because of, I think, the sourdough starter.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good.
Is it different? But good?
Yeah, it is different, but really good.
We've got a sick one here who's not feeling very good still.
Yeah.
Started feeling sick in the middle of the dream board video, huh, Macy? Yeah, so she's gonna have some sourdough waffles too. We're gonna keep her tea topped up
Hamish has been making the most delicious tea from the garden. Huh, Hamish?
Yep.
Tell him what you've been putting in your tea, and it's such a good combination.
I'm never gonna tell anyone my secrets.
Okay. All right, guys, here we are at feeding number 4. We didn't get much of a rise. That's okay. I've been giving it about 8 hours in between each feeding. One thing that I read online that made a lot of sense, that I went ahead and decided that I was going to use it in my experimentation in trying to figure out this, bringing back alive the sourdough starter, is that if it's warmer weather or it's warmer in your kitchen, give less time in between your feeding. If it's cooler weather and cooler in your kitchen, give it your sourdough starter a bit more time in between the feedings. So I've been feeding every morning and evening pretty much, so I wanted to go ahead and just tell you that quickly. As you will have noticed, I put the discard in another weck jar, and I decided that I was going to try to keep them both alive and activate them both so I can make more sourdough bread. I'm hoping to make quite a few loaves, so I just labeled them old and new so I knew which one was the original and which was the new starter. You guys, look. Look at that fermentation. So this is the old one. It smells so good. And here's the new one. Wow, that smells a lot more vinegary than this one. Like the discard smells a bit stronger than the... Interesting. So these are the 4 ferments that I talked about, the 4 starters, and I decided to put them on my dryer since I had just done a load of laundry and then leave them overnight on that warm surface. Come on, come see. Okay, first of all, it is Sunday today, and we started trying to revive the sourdough starter on Monday. So it's almost been a week. Let me just show you. I just feel like I hear the Eye of the Tiger playing right now, like dun, 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 rising up. I'm so happy. Can you tell? I'm not gonna lie, there were moments I did not think this was going to rise. I didn't think there was moments of doubt. But look at that! Okay, so this is the new old, which means that it was from the original. This is the original baby. That's the original mama right there. She's pretty. And so this is the discard of this one. This is the discard of this one, and then I fed it again, and then I discarded it into this one. So this guy is the newest. This is the baby. Oh, this is the baby. Oh, that's punching my nose. I think these are going to be very, very, very sour, and I need to make them all into loaves like ASAP. So I realized that I needed to get myself a cast iron of some sort with a pot. With a top, and so I ended up going to Kmart. Didn't find anything, but I did find this little guy right here. I found it at a kitchen warehouse sale, so I got it for $59. I got too excited and I didn't show the whole process of me kneading the dough. I'm very sorry about that. Second sourdough loaf. Let's try it. And apparently, if you tap it and it sounds hollow, it's done. That doesn't sound hollow. There's a lot of flour on there.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound hollow. Uh-oh. I burnt my fingers. I'm gonna stick it back in. It doesn't sound hollow.
Yeah. No.
That does feel really crunchy. It doesn't sound hollow in the back though, but it feels like it's gonna be soft. I think I overdid the flour. I'll show it to you. Sounds promising. Let's look at the inside. Oh, there's holes. It still feels a little doughy though. It doesn't feel like the right. I'll show you in just a second. I feel like maybe I should have baked it longer. It's still a little doughy. Like the cooked dough. It's definitely not as bad as last time. We got the holes though. Let's try the crust. Crust on point. Sour on point. Flavor on point. We got holes. Smells amazing.
I'm gonna take this one.
Honest.
No, it tastes like sourdough.
It does taste like sourdough. Definitely sour.
What?
Come into the camera. Honest opinion. Like, I want texture, flavor, crunch, everything.
It is a bit doughy.
Like a cooked dough.
Yeah. But other than that, I think the flavor is good.
The flavor is good. Do you like the crunchy top? Like, it's better than the last one. And that's good. If we slowly get better and better with each time, then what do we have to complain about? Thanks, guys. I find that so frustrating that I don't have the footage of my second sourdough loaf. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna show you guys what I did. Now. So, I turned on my Thermomix. Things are just piling up in my house. I don't like it. It's chaos, I tell you, mayhem. So the last two loaves I have done with sourdough have been the Costco brand, or Costco, I don't know if it's the brand. I don't think it's the brand, but it's the big old bag, one of the bags you can get there at Costco. I'm not gonna use this time. This is the bread I'm gonna use this time, and we were gonna see how we go. I wanna point out, this is the same sourdough starter that I used in the loaf of bread that you guys saw previous on this video. This is a feeding of today, and look at how much it's risen. It's amazing. I'll pretty much use the whole entire thing. There was scrapings on the side. And then I heard a tip from Mary Grace's Bread on YouTube that you don't have to have half of your sourdough starter in order to keep going with your sourdough bread. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I put a third a cup of water, a third a cup of warm water, mixed it in together with the scrapings on the side, and look. Do you see that? I wanted to share that tip with you because I found it very helpful. So what I did was I came in here with my Thermomix and I measured. I've got this little, if you can see there, I've got this little measuring situation. I'm going to measure out 80 grams. I'm actually going to measure out 160 grams of sourdough starter because I want to try to do 2 loaves. I hope it turns out. 90, 105. 175, 180, exactly. Woohoo! I'm sitting here editing my video, going, wow, Jerry, you clearly can't do math very well. This is such simple math, too. 80 plus 80, which I needed 80 grams, and I'm doubling the loaf. So 80 plus 80 is 160, not 180. I'm wondering if this is what I did, if this is the point where it all goes south. Because I couldn't figure out why my dough was so runny. You'll see this later in the video, but I couldn't figure out why it was so runny, and I think I figured it out. I put 20 extra grams of starter in there. This is the beauty of documenting. This is why I document. I'm for it. Yes, I think I figured it out. Let's get back to the video. Okay. I am going to feed this jar right here. I will show this to you guys later so that you can see it rise. It's amazing. Like, this is all that I'm going to use in there. There's not half. I've pretty much used all the starter. I'm just gonna make 2 loaves. All right, now we need 350 grams of white flour. And then we're gonna do 100 grams of rye. grams of rye, and actually, while we have the rye flour out, I'm going to do, nope, are you 1/3? 1/2? 1/3. Okay, 1/3 cup. Again, you can see we don't have very much. I'm gonna put that in. Equal parts warm water, lukewarm. We're gonna mix it all in. Scrape all that goodness off the sides. Then I'm going to put the rubber band where it is, so you know, just wherever it lands. It's a bit higher up on the side here. Just gonna pull that down so that we can see where everything is, right? Okay. And the lid on this one is called New Old. I'm gonna stick it on here, put it there, and we're gonna let it do its thing. Ooh, that's 610. Uh-oh. 8 grams of salt, so 16 grams of salt. Tare, 16 grams of salt. Now we're just gonna mix. Come over here with me. Okay, I mixed it until the dough looked shaggy. This is the shaggy dough. I don't know if that's a technical name. I heard it off of Mary Grace's bread. And then I covered it and then left it for 30 minutes, and I came back and I mixed it in again with my hands this time to bring it kind of together. And then I covered it and put it aside. Ooh, bless you. Morning, everyone. I'm going to go over now and check my stuff. Ooh, see, look. Do you see how much that rose? I mean, there was hardly anything in that. You guys saw. You guys saw that. Guys, we got a huge rise in our sourdough. The other one didn't really rise. I think I'm getting better at this. I'm gonna wash my hands, and then I'm gonna move over and we're gonna work with this bread. Dough. I was so happy with the rise, so I just wanted to show it to you guys really quickly. I was pretty happy with that. So I noticed that the dough was very, very sticky, kind of runny, soupy dough, but I knew that was a typical sourdough in the beginning. In the beginning, the dough is very sticky and you have to work with it, and the more that you work with it, the less runny it gets. But my dough seemed to become more runny the more I worked with it. And I think I figured it out when I mentioned earlier that I had added 20 grams more of starter than what I should have. So I worked with this dough all day long, constantly coming in every 30 minutes, just waiting for it to, you know, thicken up and be ready to like mold into that final shape, and it never got there. I even added flour a couple times, not too much, but I did add flour as I went along. After working with the dough for the majority of the day, this is what it looked like. It was still pretty runny, and then I ended up trying to scrape it off of the counter. It got all over the cupboards, all over the floor. I lost a large part of this dough, and I ended up just putting it aside until the next day. As you can see here, this dough is a lot thicker, but I had put it in the refrigerator overnight, which I'm sure added to it being this thick. I spent a lot of my night looking at tips on how to make your sourdough dough not so sticky, and it said to slap it on the counter. So I was beating the crap out of this dough. I was slapping it, I was banging it, I was just being as rough as I possibly could, and only thing that would thicken this dough up is to add flour to the dough. So I was slowly adding in a little bit of flour on the top, on the bottom, kneading it in very, very slowly, but it still just really wasn't thickening up to what I needed it to be.
So you had one of those days when the world don't give you no grace. You'd rather keep dragging you down. Now if you wish to spread those wings and fly, you gotta turn it around. Don't look over your shoulder, don't ever look back. No use for second opinions, don't wanna stay in the past. Just keep on going, 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 go for the top. You keep on rolling, 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 and don't ever stop. When you're feeling down and low, there's really only one way to go.
I read a tip online saying that sourdough does better in the rising process and in the beginning processes in glass bowls. And so I went ahead, I took the tip. I don't understand exactly why that would be, but I went ahead and I put my dough in this glass bowl, as you can see here. And then I went ahead and I did the instructions the way that you're supposed to do by proofing it in the proofing basket. Sorry, you can hear the kids outside playing next door. I did the folding over in the basket. They say that that gives you better tension. So I did that, and then I covered it with a tea towel. I let it rest for an hour, and I had my fingers crossed the whole entire time that it would work out this time. Oh my gosh. I look like nuts. I look like I'm nuts. I look nuts. Look insane. Oh gosh. Okay. Let's try this again. Guys. I got too excited. And I stuck the sourdough in before I filmed it. Sorry. I don't, at this point, I don't even know what to, like, I would like it to turn out, but there's very little, you know, at this point. Let's do the reveal together.
You need to crawl back on your feet and keep on fighting. And don't ever stop. Don't look over your shoulder. Don't ever look back.
What?
You know what people say? There comes the charm.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna keep on doing it, even if for me it's 30 times a charm. All right, I gotta set this again. I'm gonna set it for 20 minutes. Moment of truth. I'm scared. I'm not scared, but it smells like sourdough. Kind of looks like it too. Sounds hollow. Does that sound hollow?
That does sound hollow. That does sound hollow.
Sort of, yeah. Looks really freaking good.
If it worked, then I'm gonna cry. I'll actually have
I
tears.
want to eat it right now.
Should we try?
Yeah. I haven't even toasted.
I don't know if it's gonna be good because the last couple times I was hopeful and it was doughy. So
Yeah, jam.
I worked on this sourdough loaf, if you count the starter as well, 2 weeks.
Wait, we have homemade jam. See, we have homemade jam.
Yeah.
It smells good.
Okay, shh.
That is not doughy.
It feels like it might be.
I don't know, babe. I reckon you got it. You got it this time.
No, it's a little doughy.
No, that's all. Oh, maybe a like you could have cooked it maybe like another like 60 seconds, but that looks really good. Like that's almost perfect.
Yeah.
It might have just undercooked it a little, maybe.
Maybe.
Honest, even if it's awful. It's doughy, isn't it?
A little bit.
Barely.
but it's pretty good.
Everyone makes it seem so easy, you know? Half this with the Hamish makes it, and you guys
That's pretty good, babe.
come back.
Yeah, Mom. Last time you were hopeful, and yeah, it didn't work out, but that's because it was one of your first times. Like, you're not gonna get in the first 2 tries.
It does seem better than the other breads that I made,
Yeah, and the top is a little cracked, which is good.
but it's still not. Do you like the end bits?
Yeah.
Here, Hamish. Can you put jam on it?
I'm gonna try it myself now.
That's well, you can put jam. Mom, can I put jam on it?
Yeah, I'm a little scared to use the jam because it's sour.
How should we open it?
Do you like the sour flavor?
Yeah.
Just like pull the lid off. We got some homemade jam right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that worked. Well, I guess I should.
That's your jam, is it? That you made?
Yeah.
I want to try some of that.
Yeah. Can I have another piece? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See?
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's the end of the video. We spent a lot of time doing our sourdough, didn't we, Hamish?
Yeah.
Well, Mom did. What'd you think of it?
It was great because my opinion, if you want to make bread, you should always make it a little doughy in the inside, but like a harder crust, chewy in the inside. So when you put it in a toaster,
A little chewy bread is really good, but not doughy, not like a cooked dough. So I think this bread was like 70% there. I think it was 70%. The first dough,
like 96.
96. That's a good score. Thank you. Is that like a score because you love me, or is it because that's how good the bread was?
That's how good the bread was. So you should maybe do it like a half a minute longer than what we did, or like maybe a minute.
Bake
if
it?
does, yeah, like baking it. If you should do it like a 30, like half a minute or a minute longer than we did.
All right, so I think Hamish gives it a 96. I'm giving it about a 75. I think what I did, and that's only from editing this video, is that I added too much sourdough starter. And so I think that starter was eating up the flour maybe too quickly and making it really soupy. And it was after I added the flour in it. So it makes more sense that that is what was thickening up the dough. So next time I'm just going to be more careful on my measurements. And yeah, that's the video. You win some, you lose some, and I promise to always be transparent and just show you the process as I go through it, whether it's good or bad. And I hope that you'll stick around, and I hope you'll give your tips and your tricks. And I hope that and I just hope that you feel welcome here. And thank you so much for watching my video. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.